This conference will now be recorded.
Good to go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Boonesburg's Mayor and Council. Would everyone please rise for the pledge and invocation? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we want to thank you for one of your blessed things that happened today with the eclipse. One of God's creation, one of many wonderful creation that God has given us. Oh Lord, as we go into this meeting tonight, please guide us in a godly manner and we make the right decisions, not only for the town of Boonesburg, but also for the town residents. Lord, we pray that one of these days the world will get along and we'll have peace throughout the world. Hopefully that happens soon, and with your guidance, I know it can. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, looks like all the council is present. Is that on?
Yeah, it's
Sound
on.
very loud. Okay.
Oh, you know what? Someone played with my controls.
Uh-oh.
Do you have champagne back there? Is that what that sound was?
We
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, that sounds a lot better. Okay, like I said, it looks like all the council's present. I'd like to go on and start out with the review and approval of our meeting minutes, draft minutes for a regular meeting on March 11th, 2024. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? And if so, is there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the March 11th regular meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carries. Treasurer's report, March 2024.
Sure. Okay, so we'll start with the general fund. The general fund at the end of March had a balance of $1,918,433.92. The water fund at the end of March carried a balance of $624,290.44. And the sewer fund had an ending balance of $364,927.57. As far as investments in the general fund, we currently have at the end of March a total of $2,303,556.34 in CDs and other investments through Wells Fargo. Other funds, we still have our restricted funds account at Middletown Valley Bank with a balance of $2,600,625.05. We have the American Rescue Plan Act Fund at Middletown Valley with a balance of $2,392,645.23. And then we also have a water fund user fee money market account at Middletown with a balance of $533,181.49. And the sewer fund user fee money market account also at Middletown Valley with a balance of $102,286.43. And that is everything that we have at the moment.
Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Have a motion, do we have?
I'll say.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion or question?
Benny, did you want to let everyone know that the 3+1 topic we're canceling?
Sure.
I think you did send an email.
Sure. So we have the.
Oh, but you said any questions?
Yeah, he had a question concerning the treasurer's report. So that concerns the treasurer's report.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we canceled the 3+1. We're not going to be doing that investment. That's what
Any questions? Gary? Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you don't have any, I thought you said you had a question.
No.
too. Oh, okay. Any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstaining, motion carries. Ray, doesn't look like there's anybody signed on. Okay. We'll move on. We have a presentation tonight, fiscal year 2023 audit, Jason Canode, CPA, Albright and Crumpet. Jason, the floor is yours, sir. Good. Just don't take it too far.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me for this riveting presentation. I know everyone has been waiting with bated breath with this. We are a little later than usual, and last year we were a little later as well, but I'll give a commentary. Over the last 2 years, you've had some staffing changes and some service changes. And I think the changes are, from an accounting standpoint, as you'll see in a couple minutes, I think the changes you've made, the learning curves have lessened. All in all, the audit was very clean. Clifton Larson is great. Brian has taken ownership. He's done a good job. The information being provided is right on the money. So I wanted to give that commentary before I proceeded. So if you have the packet in front of you, I would invite you to turn to page, the first page with the one at the bottom, number 1 at the bottom with our heading at the top. So you'll see that we have the report on the audit of the financial statement. And I'll read these 2 paragraphs to you because these are one of the most important things we give. We have audited the financial statements of the government activities, business type activities, and each major fund of the Boones Bar Mayor and Council of the town as of and for the year ended June 30, 2023, and the related notes, the financial statements which collectively comprise the town basic financial statements as listed in the table of contents. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, business type activities, and each major fund of the town as of June 30, 2023, and the respective changes in financial position and where applicable cash flows thereof for the year then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. So, translating that from formal accounting speak to real world, your audit's a clean audit, clean opinion. It's the best opinion we can give. No material adjustments, some reclassification items. And what I will do before I get into a number comparison, I invite you to turn to the 3 pages from the end. That page will also have our heading on it. I know this is an important information to provide. You want to go the other way, Clark?
The other way.
Yeah, towards the back a little more. Page 47. Oh, yeah, I could have done that. Yeah. So what this is our independent auditor's report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters based on an audit of financial statements performed in accordance with government auditing standards. As you know, generally, we usually have a finding or 2. Last year, we had several. I wanted to draw your attention here because if you look at page 48, you'll see that we had no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies were identified. So the work that you all put in, training, the education, the experience, and bringing in the outside accounting firm has paid off. So well done to all in that regard.
Nice job, guys.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Very much. much improved from an audit standpoint from last year, and a lot of it was learning curve. Yeah, so. So now with that said, and I won't take too much of your time, these financial statements are, and I say this every year, are a lot of information. If you look at page 4, and I'm not going to read this, it's basically page 4 through page 9, I think, is the page where we at. It is basically your numbers in a narrative version. It's a Cliff Notes version. So rather than look at all the statements and all that stuff, this tells you everything compared to last year, how we did, how we didn't do. So that I won't review that, but I will hit some highlights just for points of reference. For the current year, or the year we're reporting on, June 2023, total assets experienced an increase of 3.7 million or 17.2%. Governmental assets increased 2.5 million due to a net increase in current assets. And a lot of that had to do with cash coming in over the year, offset by a decrease in other assets of 325,000. Business type activities increased 1.2 million as a result of net increase in current assets, cash accounts receivable, and prepaids of 1.1 million, and an increase of other assets, notes receivable, intercompany balances of 325,000, excuse me, offset against a decrease in capital assets of 159 net of current year depreciation expense. Of course, your water and sewer fund are the only ones that get depreciation expense during the year. Your liabilities, excluding long-term obligations, increased 2.5 million, 72%. Governmental activities liabilities experienced an increase of 1.6 million, primarily due to a decrease in advanced ARPA funds, an increase in advanced ARPA funds of 1.5 million. And your business type activities, your total liabilities increased 1.1 million due to an increase of unearned revenue, deferred revenue of 1 million. So just for a point of reference to everyone in the room, when you get grants, organizations, governments have to recognize them, and nonprofits do as well. They're not necessarily a revenue yet, it's like a deferred revenue job. So you have to record them in your balance sheet, it's recorded as a liability. Then as you spend the money, the liability will decrease and your revenue will increase. And then you'll have a corresponding decrease in your expense. So these increases in your liabilities, just make certain everyone understands, are not bad things. It just means you have $2.6 million in grant dollars you received over the calendar year or the fiscal year I audited for the various projects you have going on. So, and I would surmise when I do the audit in 2024 that those numbers will have decreased and will continue to decrease. Long-term obligations for all funds decreased 183,000 as a result of scheduled principal payments. And I believe you should be getting close to the end on a couple of your loans, are you not?
Yeah, we paid one off in 24,
Okay.
2 years left on another, and then we got,
On the other ones with the water fund, right? I think they have 2 years left, and then the general fund one got paid off in 24.
correct.
And then really all you have is your bond.
Yep.
And if you're asking for my opinion as your auditor, it would not hurt the town to pay to have only the bond outstanding with these capital projects going on. Because I know from the minutes, and I know probably everyone who's a resident knows that the reservoir is imminent failure. Is that, so you need to, I think, putting yourself in the best financial position, should you need to get money, that would be my recommendation. So that's just an opinion from your auditor, I think would be good for you. Of course, we don't want to obviously incur any more debt, but there are tons of grants out there and, hopefully you'll be able to get some more to offset that, but it's certainly in the short term, grant process is not as expeditious as you would like it to be. Revenues for the year, total revenues increased 578,000 or 23%. And this is in the governmental fund. The increase is attributable to increases in parks and recreation revenue and interest. Your investments that you began under Mary Lee's guidance as treasurer, the staggering of the CDs and everything, getting into the ICS account, I think that's what they are.
Yes.
They're getting you a return. Having a high balance is certainly help, and the economic conditions help, but that is, invaluable money when your margins are small. And we didn't have any material decreases in other revenue categories. Then under the governmental fund, total expenditures increased 287,000 when compared to 22. Increase was due primarily to increases in general government expenditures, public safety, and highways and streets. And those are your three big ones every year. I mean, those are the primary things that we're doing. Statement of revenues for water and sewer. Revenue increased by 844,000. Increases can be traced to an increase in water and sewer fees. 113,000 in upper income. I think some of that was mostly usage because the rates don't increase this year, did they not? 24. So I'll expect a larger increase next year, but that was just increased usage of the capacity you have. Hopefully, as development continues, that will also increase. Total expenditures increased by 93,000, 4%, not really material. So that was good cost controls. Also, under other income, you received $436,000 in grants and interest income, primarily grants. And we didn't put them in operating grants because they were used for capital stuff. So, that therein lies the importance of your grants. It enables you to, which you all know, but I'd be remiss if I didn't reiterate, the importance of getting the grants when they're available is it provides you the cash to do these projects without destroying your rainy day fund or your regular operational position. Overall, for the town of Boonesborough, overall net position increased 1.2 million during fiscal year 2023, which is an increase of 880,000 in governmental and 360,000 in business type or water and sewer fund, compared to an increase of 590,000 in governmental last year and a decrease. So we lost money in the water and sewer fund last year, 391,000 in 2022. Our unrestricted net position, so that's the money that's not, Francis Schaefer Park, not in capital assets, not for the garden, not for capital improvements. Unrestricted, you can use for operations today, increased from 4.5 million to 5.5 million in June 2023 when compared to 2022. In my opinion, the town's overall, in my observation, the town's overall financial position remains constant. The town was impacted positively by current market conditions and your interest in the large cash balances. So you're taking advantage of the money that has been given to you. You're not putting in a non-interest bearing account. That's being, in our opinion, as your auditors, as being good stewards of the resources you were provided. So because those monies are not restricted, they can be used for operations. So really, you have these projects sitting here, you can't do anything with it, the money's restricted for it, but the interest you get can keep the lights on. And that is well done. A lot of towns don't do that, or they don't think about that. We also, as I noted, there was a significant amount of grant revenue received during the year, and charges for services did increase when compared to prior year. And I noted that you I mentioned that you adjusted the water fees for 24. Really, I would continue the town to steadfastly find funding for your projects if it's available, as many grants as you can possibly get. Public-private partnerships, certainly with all the development coming in, would be an option, will be a viable way to go. And just continue to have good overall expense management. The town has, at a time when your revenues are going up, and despite what others may think in other areas, we are in an inflationary market. And you have done a good job maintaining a steady expense level at a time when your revenues are increasing faster. So that's good. That's the basic or the meat of my presentation. I can go through these pages, but if you want me to, I can, but it's boring reading. I mean, this is it right here. The importance of your grants here. I will show you something that's importance of the grants. I think it's very important. If you turn to page 17, it's our statement of revenue, except changes in fund net position. I know that not the former town manager, but the one prior to him was very aggressive in getting grants and getting supported funding. And you can see that our operating income, 3/4 of the way down, we lost money from operations in the water and sewer fund. But what you also have to take into account, you lost $500,000, but you did have $879,000 in depreciation and expense. So just like any other business, this is your business fund. You have to take that from an operational perspective. But what I wanted to show you was when you look at the grants, you can see that you had $873,000 in grants. 657,000 was to support the sewer fund in that project. This project, from a accounting perspective, you have expended dollars that were funded with grants. So at the time, so it didn't draw from your operational accounts. And you spend it on a project that will, my expectation would be the biosolids removal of $201,000 is going to drop substantially. So you're going to see cost savings immediately for money that did not come out of your operations. And you all know this, but I want to make sure it's available for public record.
Yeah, once that dewatering up and completely running, that's gonna save us an awful lot of money a year from sludge removal.
Yeah.
And you'll start to see that.
And
Turn around.
that's my point. Of course, and then as usage increases, with all the commercial development down that end, if it ever starts, well, I mean, it is now, but it's slower than everyone thought it would be for sure. So I did want to share that to you, and also to show you pages 18 and 19. So as I've shown you before, the statement of cash flows really, in a lot of ways, it's a complicated statement, but it is the most important statement in the financial packet because it shows you the operations. We're not required to do one for the governmental fund, so you don't get that. But it shows you from the work that you did, everything you did from July 1, 2022 to June 30, 2023, all the work we did during this year, did it help our cash balances? And you can see that 3/4 of the way down, your cash balances overall for the water and sewer fund increased million. Now granted, 2 million of it is grant fund, but still, you can see what you're getting from operations, from your investments, from your capital expenditures. I mean, we spent almost $700,000 in capital expenditures last year. So, at a time when you're getting 2.6 in grants, and you have a positive of 1.7, you spent most of your dollars for the difference in capital assets. So you're not throwing it away, you're spending it on value, on things that bring value to the town, enhance the town. So, and then pages 20 through basically 44 are the notes, and it tells you how we put the statements together. I won't review those. I've taken too much of your time as it is. I apologize. But kind of quick, but it's a big statement. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Questions for me?
How long I've been waiting to hear that word, zero findings. That is the first time ever. I can remember back when we had 100 findings, and this is fantastic.
We
Now they got it down.
Doing the audit in 15 or 16 or 17.
Yeah, so maybe 16, we heard you.
And the one year we had one.
Yeah.
I think one year we had one or two.
That was
So, yeah, this year you have none. And that's why, I knew it was important to you. And that's why second was last year we had one.
And all the credit goes to staff, Brian, Kim, Beth, Drew. Everybody's done a fantastic job on this to keep things straight. And good job, staff. Appreciate it, Brian. Good work.
Get yourself in order.
You
You get to stick around for the meeting. The rest of the night.
You get to leave.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I just want to say though too, that Brian really busted his butt. He
Yes,
did. He did an amazing job.
And it's wonder he hasn't lost a few hairs.
I think he might have.
I'm just hiding it well.
He lost it from that beard.
Pretty soon you're gonna look like this.
I didn't lose my hair until I had children.
There you go.
But, I mean, after the last 2 years of working with him, he's not even gray. That's amazing to me.
That's unusual.
I know.
Hair dye.
I love it.
Just for me.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Very, very nice job. I'm very proud of you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is appointment of interim town manager. The council, with your approval, I'd like to appoint Kim as our interim town manager, along with Drew Bowen as her assistant.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Kim as our interim town manager and Drew as the assistant.
Second.
Okay, you have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Those the same, abstain. Congratulations.
Again.
Okay, next on the agenda is guest Terry Packer, Chair of Economic Development Commission, to give us an update on Main Street application and Spring Jubilee. Wherever you would like. It'd be nice to set up, let everybody see it.
All right. So I am here, as Kurt said, to talk about Main Street Maryland application and the affiliate program. I know Howard and Tony and Ray were at our last networking event that was here in this room, and our presentation was from the Main Street manager, Prosper, that day. So I think you got a little more of an idea about this program that day, but for others who are not as familiar, I will give you a quick rundown. You're welcome to ask questions. What The Economic Development Commission is interested in becoming or applying to become a Main Street Maryland affiliate community. The affiliate program purpose is to assist smaller towns and communities to work with the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development and use the national Main Street Center's Main Street approach. That's a 4-pronged approach on the national level, but Maryland also adds a 5th. So their 4 focuses are economic vitality, design, promotion, organization, and then the 5th one, which is called Maryland's Clean, Safe, and Green. So they look at those 5 pillars, they call them, to strengthen the economic potential for your traditional business district. On their website, they say it's a key program for community development and revitalization in Maryland's historic downtowns. So I know that I've sent the draft application that we've worked on and then Kim forwarded to you. It's a lot, so when you have time to look at that, that's great. I'm going to just hit a few highlights, what the program requires, what the program services are, and that'll give you an idea of why we're interested. Participation in the affiliate program gives communities an important set of principles, guidelines, and examples that can be immediately put into practice. So the staff from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development will work with the community to develop an affiliate action plan that provides information on resources available to that local government and stakeholders that can be utilized to meet their specific commercial district challenges. So the state program director and 2 of her high-level staff members visited in September. We had a meeting with them, and then we did a walking tour of downtown. We stopped at the National Road Museum, the Child Museum. We walked back through Schaefer Park, and we came on Main Street. We went to Gibbs, and went to Josie's, went to the Pathfinder, and ended up in Boonesboro and up on the porch so they could kind of see. And I felt that they left really excited about what we have here and what some of the things that are in the works and how they can help us. So the resources that they have for affiliate towns include available funding through the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development and other state agencies, as well as access to the Main Street Maryland network of local nonprofits and government agencies. They have a range of expert consultants, targeted professional consultation through the Maryland Economic Development Association's Council past presidents. The term affiliate, they offer 2 programs. There are affiliate programs, which are for communities that are just maybe trying to figure out their structure, not quite ready to apply for the full Main Street Maryland designation, or they're maybe don't qualify on a certain level, so that they offer this affiliate program to kind of get you in the door and get you availability to the resources. What it's called an affiliate describes the relationship between that community and the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development's Main Street program. So their requirements, one is that you work in a pedestrian-oriented commercial district. So they want that to include pedestrian scale and orientation, a significant number of locally owned businesses, and some structures that would be eligible for frequently used rehabilitation incentives. They also look for commercial districts that would be considered eligible for Maryland Inventory of Historic Properties and or National Register of Historic Places, which, you know, we already have that designation. They use the national Main Street approach, including Maryland's 5th point about clean, safe, and green, as I mentioned. They ask for local government commitment. The participation in the affiliate program is the responsibility of the local government, but they may choose to identify a nonprofit partner to work with them on the affiliate action items. Local government will strive to provide infrastructure improvements and business incentives that enhance the commercial district. They look for a broad-based revitalization organization. So the organization should include a wide variety of stakeholders and have strong support from both public and private sectors. This organization does not have to be an independent nonprofit, and it may include chambers of commerce, merchant associations, things like that. So we are working to get the Boonesboro Town Alliance established. It's established, but we're working for them to get nonprofit status, and that we identify as being an organization that could be involved with this program. And we talked to them about that plan when they were here, and they felt like that could be a good hybrid between the town and that nonprofit. They program services, I'll just hit this quickly. They program support and professional development. They have state staff and specialists that train the affiliate communities and their partners in the national Main Street points of focus, the economic vitality, design, promotion, and organization. And they also give training and assistance with the Maryland Clean, Safe, and Green initiative. They provide topical training on specific revitalization topics. They have remote consultants that are available by phone or email. They will work with you to get your sustainable community designation, which we have. So then they offer resource and information sharing. So the state staff and specialists prepare updates on opportunities for services and funding available to the Maryland downtowns that are part of the program. And additionally have networking opportunities with other designated Main Street Maryland communities and affiliates. And they offer you access to a huge library of presentations and training materials as well. So basically the designated communities make a commitment to improve the economy, appearance, and image of their traditional downtown business districts. So when we met with them and did this walking tour, they kind of, they saw where things were, the spacing and everything, and they kind of suggested that we look at having our district be from the Park Drive, the Schaefer Park entrance to Cemetery Lane, High Street, and include the first block of St. Paul and Potomac, and that pretty much matches up with the town center district. So that would be, what we would ask. They did tell us to keep it as tight as you can, because the more you spread it out, it's just the harder for someone to manage. So what they require of this is a part-time manager. If you're an affiliate, it's a part-time Main Street manager that you would have. When you're in the full designation Main Street program, you have requirements of having a full-time Main Street manager. They do connect you with opportunities for grant funding for part of that salary. And they just really gave us a lot of feedback about the availability of their staff and what they have to offer. And I think, the Economic Development Commission has been working through a lot of different projects and building a lot of momentum since we were reorganized in 2021. And this has always been out there on the horizon as something that we kind of like to, shoot for.
In order for us to sustain
Yeah.
the level that we're working at, we need to have more consistency and help to do that.
So we see this as the next step for us, because you become involved in a program like this, and then you have a part-time Main Street manager, they solely focus on this action plan that they will help you develop for the needs that you have. They look at, and you'll see in that application, they want to know your strengths, your weaknesses, your vacancies, your opportunities for private investment, they want, and then they'll help you identify what's out there for funds, for programs, that can build the energy and bring more economic viability to your downtown. I'm sure you're familiar with some of the other communities that have that designation, but just in our area here, Williamsport, Hagerstown, Middletown, Brunswick, Frostburg, Cumberland, and another one that is of similar size, I think, to us, would be Fairmont. But I occasionally drive through there, I've seen a lot of changes in their little town, as they become involved in this program. So we What we need from you is your support on this. And obviously, you can look at this application that we've worked on. It's very involved. We've been working on this thing since November. And then I put it away for a while, then I get it back out and go through it again, and we just keep trying to fill in the blanks. And ultimately, they asked for a local government resolution support for the community to apply for this. And so that would be something we need from you as well.
Now, will the Main Street part-time manager be under the Alliance or the Town of Finchburg?
So once they accept you into the program, they can help guide you on the best way to set this up. But there are three options. You can do it underneath your town government umbrella. You can do it totally separate through another nonprofit organization, or you can do a hybrid. I believe that Frostburg, when they started, had like 70% of their funding coming from their town, and then some outside funding through the program. They did a hybrid, but they have, been doing this for over 20 years, so they've shifted to almost 70% of their funding coming from grants. And, small amount from their town and then other sources. So, but she's got an operating budget of like $250,000, I think she said that day, so.
She did say that.
Yeah, so I mean, really have done big things for that area through this program, but you have options to do it those three different ways. When we gave them a basic outline of how things were structured and our hopes for the Boonesboro Town Alliance, they thought maybe the hybrid would be the best for us. But there have been some cases where towns became affiliates and the part-time Main Street manager was a part of the town staff initially until they got going. So there's some flexibility there.
Okay.
Do you have any idea what salary Williamsport pays?
I do not. I can look into that. For sure. How much you know?
But I would just say, before you submit pictures, make sure you have the property owner's approval, because like one of those is a residence and,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like,
okay, yeah.
maybe they might not be interested.
Right, I
You
mean,
know what I mean, like, I would think maybe something might be better.
it's, well, they asked specifically, I know which one you're talking about there, they
Yeah.
asked for, when they talk about the pictures, they wanted to see some properties that would be eligible for rehabilitation.
Right, and again, that
Yeah.
is a personal,
So,
you know what I mean, private property,
Yeah.
they may not be.
Well, I think in one of them, you might have mentioned, for sale, business for sale, but I don't know.
no,
if
it's
it is.
not, see, I need to have a change, right, yeah. It's the only daycare. So we can, yeah, let me,
But I do know there's like, some others that are designated historic locations.
That we could-
We don't have interest in.
yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? I don't want to to my house, and saying it and need a, knowledge.
Got it, yes.
Council, which way do you want
I wanted to ask Terry,
Mhm.
so when you talk about this part-time Main Street manager, and it might start out being a town employee,
That's just one way that one town did it. So it's not, there's,
is there any idea how much time that might take this person?
I think it's flexible because, if they are going to come up with, meet with the town to talk about what our needs are and how they can help. And then that becomes your action plan that kind of guides you in how much time is needed. One thing I did not mention is that the National Road Museum has offered, if it comes to that point that we have Main Street manager, part-time manager, that they've offered office space upstairs for that person, so
to? It starts off, it's probably gonna be 20, 30 hours,
I would think.
a week, just to get things going, and that once things get up and running, it's probably drop back to
If
20 and under.
Maintain or,
Yeah, you go up, it depends on how much work they want to put in.
yes,
Does
exactly.
that have to be a dedicated Main Street employee, or can that be a town employee that has duties to be?
It can be either way. It can be either way, yeah. And it's been done a variety of
Is
different
it-
ways.
possible that one of the other towns could use them for their part-time. I mean, I don't know if the other towns are in full-time or part-time right now.
I don't know.
Boundary's full-time, I think. I think she's full-time.
I know the frost.
She spoke at her MML fall conference. Did a very good job. But I think she's full-time.
Oh, we just got all this.
Yeah.
Yeah. For months, I don't really feel comfortable like making decisions.
I wanted to give
So
you
we had some time to for our budget plans, for budgeting.
outline of the
Get some
program
numbers.
and then, yeah.
You think you can come back at our April meeting, workshop at the end of the month? What's the date on that, Kim? The last Monday?
It's the last Monday,
With some numbers?
20,
Okay. And we'll put you on the agenda for that.
29th.
Bring back some questions.
Would this affect, like, I know Brian helps you all out a lot, would this affect him helping you out? Would it cut back on that for him, or, I mean, I don't know, he might not want to be cut back there.
We
I
like
think
Brian.
so. Yeah, it's
We do too.
Everybody does, yeah. This could, I mean, what I see, but I think I've thousands is that the Main Street program can take a lot of these things off the plates of some of the volunteers so that the commission can actually focus on economic development and what the commission should focus on. You know, it's gotten to the point where we have so many things moving in a positive direction. I think you have this role where someone's only focused on that. Yeah, I think it can streamline a lot.
I don't want to, task Brian with something or anticipate Brian doing. Brian does a lot.
No, I know, I do not, yeah.
We're going to get a new town manager, and we're probably going to have some restructuring, and anyway, we can maybe incorporate this, at that time. Not that Brian wouldn't be the guy, but I mean, we, Brian, our go-to guy, ask him stuff.
No, we're not gonna overwhelm Brian.
Can I let Terry go on and talk about the Spring Jubilee and run across the street to my office and check my file? Because I might have that information over there on the salary requirements. So,
Well, I mean, you can, but we're gonna do this. in the
We can,
workshop.
Yeah.
We find it.
Yeah. If you get it, you can send it
I
out.
know it's CA, so it's like $58,000 for the full-time position at the, no, that's if you went for just a Main Street share across the board, full-time is like 58,000 to start. And that was definitely something that we couldn't afford, and then the affiliate was more of a part-time position.
So that gives you an overview of the program, and as you review, please make notes.
We'll put you on the agenda for our workshop.
Okay.
Did you say the 29th?
yes.
Spring Jubilee.
So Spring Jubilee is coming up on April 27th. That's our annual spring festival. Each year it has grown. Our hope was this year that we would have a portion of Main Street closed so we could increase the opportunities and activities more. And it appears that State Highway is not going to approve that. So we've always had Plan B in the back of our mind, but now we have to move forward on Plan B because it's coming up fast. So we have music booked, we have activities planned, we have food trucks, we have just a lot of activities which I can read through, but our thing now is where to put them because Main Street will remain open that day. Last year we tried parking food trucks on the parking spots and we do not want to do that again. This wasn't no, it wasn't safe enough with the traffic.
So part of Plan B includes the property that Ron owns down the street that's vacant.
Just past George's house.
Offset some of the traffic on there.
He's offered that for parking for food trucks or, or to John's, things like that. What we are interested in finding out, or we'd like to request is if we could block the first block of Lake and Avenue that day and use that for some of the activities and things that we've planned. there's going to be a beer garden sponsored by the Museum of History, that's in their parking lot. There's cornhole, and there's music on the porch of the museum. There's gonna be music up here in town, whether it's either here at Town Hall or possibly across the 28
across the street.
on Ron's porch over there. But we have a band booked that was going to be in the street, and now we're trying to figure out where to put them. And just some of the kids' activities and things that need space, and some of that, we have an art zone. And this just seemed like that first block.
To keep the focus on Main Street.
Have you approached any of the, I totally like one house,
Right.
Yeah, but-
Terry's,
And then you
And
got.
Shel Schaefer.
the
Yeah.
Schaefers and the people on the corner.
Because
like,
this is kind of.
Yeah.
residents.
We knocked on the door of that one house that day. So now we
Okay, I mean,
got in touch. Yeah, we wanted to bring it here.
yeah, I mean, that doesn't need to be
Yeah.
too many people.
Lowe's got it, and the Central Arm needs to be notified because of the fire company coming out, coming down
Oh, yeah, they
Lincoln
come down
Avenue,
there.
the ladder truck will need to have to go down one more block to get that out, to respond to any fires that's going out of town, out towards the south, or down Dunk Street. They normally come down Lincoln Avenue.
Okay, yeah.
That would be a concern.
What about
The police department's here. What do y'all have any concerns with blocking off Center Street
Yeah.
for a day?
I was gonna say, finish
I
your-
mean, Lincoln Avenue, Lincoln Avenue from Center
Or Center
to
Street.
Main.
Nothing.
I can't think of
No.
any other than the fire department, like you
Yeah.
said, that's the most
That's
obvious.
the one. that's
Can the
the
ladder
one.
truck make Ford?
Yes,
Okay.
but they can't make Ford, they definitely can make Orchard. Well, Ford's wider than Lincoln. Ford's a better way for them to look either way and make the turn either direction than even Lincoln Avenue. And they make that turn out of Lincoln pretty sharp. So
Could they get the truck out that day and let it set somewhere? I mean, to save
they
time.
might.
Like stage it?
They might.
Yeah.
Stage it
Stage it,
someplace.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We could talk to them about that.
okay.
We could talk to Marie, maybe she'll let them stage down at the bank.
Okay.
Yeah, too many things. The streets are getting closed.
So do you think you're gonna get everything that you want on that block of
Yeah.
Lincoln?
Yeah.
Between Ron's empty lot and Lincoln and the
In the
parking
museum.
lot of the museum, yes.
I was thinking about, park has everything, but that's taking it away from your business.
This is.
And you're having this to go.
Be, Main Street focus.
So I can see why you would want to keep it.
Well, that was the original intent.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that things can't change.
Well,
but
I
if we
think
can do it,
I think what hurt you on state highway giving you permission is if there's an accident
yeah,
on 70,
Yeah.
tractor trailers will never make that turn up
Yeah.
St. Paul Street.
yeah.
No way you could get one up there.
They've actually brought that to our attention, and I just sent them an email back. So that was a concern, and then the turn out of the park onto Potomac,
Yeah.
Yes.
that's another concern. So you have to find a way to avoid those two turns,
Yeah.
and you might have something there, but
Yeah.
those are two tough turns to avoid.
Right, oh, yeah. Right. So,
Yeah, so now we know.
yeah, so you're right. This has always been a Main Street focused event. So
Sure. And that's why I withdrew the thought of that moving you to the park, because that's taking away from the
Yeah,
business.
the thought entered our mind.
Well, it did because the last, like,
You got plenty of parking, you got plenty of room for the food trucks, plenty of room for the sound and everything. So, Council, do you have a problem? What are the hours?
Events are from 9 to 5.
So the homeowners, you're gonna have to get a hold of them, because they're gonna have to park someplace else. And definitely get a hold of Michelle Schaefer.
Yeah, yeah.
Outside of that, there's only, the guy who lives on the corner and he's different. Yeah, they still get to her, they park on Main Street.
People of the other corner, they park on the house, they
And really,
I don't think we're gonna take up all the Lincoln, so basically,
Like where those three cars stood.
the chain link fence of, Michelle's.
as suggested to the lady who lives on the corner, she said, well, what about parking my vehicle? Tell her she's welcome to leave at 7 Town Hall's parking lot for the day. We won't have her too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, yeah, that will be a suggestion for you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because I think there's a Boy Scout thing going on too. On the side.
I'm not sure. Everything's going on. I have a board at
It's
prom.
wrong.
I'll be in Annapolis most of the day.
Because they were gonna have you as a taser.
Yeah. Well, I did that. You'd be surprised that Boy Scouts can cook and Girl Scouts. They were decent cooks. Very nice.
If you run out of space, I know that my church is planning on participating in some fashion, Trinity.
Right.
Yeah,
Our parking lot, we have two
yeah,
lots.
they've definitely been a part of the festival in the past.
They have a nice pavilion too.
That's, yeah.
Yeah,
We have a nice new pavilion.
Oh, I know, it's really.
You need a
We'll have to
motion for us.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, we've never done this before, so you're gonna tell me.
So I have a motion to give them permission to block off Lincoln Avenue, one block, the first block, from 9 to 5.
27.
I feel like
27.
we should have done this 60 days there, give
Yeah.
people time. I mean, I don't feel comfortable making that motion, not knowing how the people that live on that
Make an
area.
contingency.
The problem was state highway will not give you an answer until 30 days
Yeah.
before your event.
Yeah, that's what messed them up. So they didn't get-
Yeah.
And sometimes you're lucky to get it in, because one year we got it on Friday, Memorial Day parade.
Do you have
was on
another plan, like to do it as you did last year, and work on this for next year, so you can get people notice or no?
As far as the.
I just think that by having the lake and it's adds a little bit more safety feature, gives us a little bit more room to spread out. We were kind of getting cramped.
Oh, we can make a motion with the contingency on the homeowners, on the contacts.
So we make the motion that we had the request to block Main Street for this festival.
Lincoln.
Don't feel bad, I was going center.
Block Lincoln for this festival contingent upon, negative, feedback from citizens.
Second.
Here we have a motion and a second. Everybody know what you're voting on, contingency on the business and the two homeowners on Lincoln Avenue?
Yep.
No other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Five.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Good luck and hope the weather's good.
Gary, do you need some kind of?
That's for the,
That's coming back.
that's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna have to absorb all this application and get.
Yep.
Once you talk to them, you might want to let the police department know so that they can rope it also know when they'll park there then. Okay.
Or actually, get your signs out about at least 24 hours before, no parking on that street.
Right.
We get it done about 24 hours before. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, facilities, faculties report, public works superintendent, Greg.
We'll start with the sewer collection part. You guys know that raise you had last week? Don't forget about the sewer collection system. It's already never paid road that you drive on because it's quite a hurt on it. It actually surcharged back in behind the football field. It just never made it double link. So if we would have had another couple of days, it really would have been some more trouble. When it gets to the sewer plant, it has nowhere to go. The sewer plant doesn't take it much. It just starts backing up the line. So I just want to keep that going off the radar. The water, everything's good. Public Works side, Doug Krumex is going to start the handicap pavilion on the 15th, which is what, Monday. It's supposed to start where it got hit last year.
Oh, yeah.
You said the 15th. Friday. They're coming out Friday, spray the termites. The park's open, you know, it open this weekend. We didn't get the baseball, but we'll have it done this week. It's all the rain corresponding. Yeah. Other than that, everything else is good.
And I told you, and I told some of the guys when we were walking through the park, really good.
Thank you.
The grass got cut, I mean, everything being cleaned up, straightened up. I mean, you guys did a good job.
Thank you.
Considering all the rain and everything, yep. And all the wind with tree branches. Yeah, great job.
Good, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions of Greg?
Greg, I had a question written down here for Pete, and maybe you don't know this. He told us a week or two ago that Paul was $1,900 for a 55-gallon drum.
That's what he said at the DMUC meeting, yeah.
Yeah, haven't heard any more.
They
about
say
that.
to try to resource it another spot, but just to get it going, they needed to buy just that one.
I asked him how long the drum would last, and he said they really don't know until they test it.
Yeah, he's got some people coming down to do some testing to see if they can use a different
Yeah,
polymer.
we gotta find out about that, because we thought it was gonna save all this money, and maybe it's gonna be on the other end, we're not gonna save what we thought or something.
We'll make sure you know by next Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll keep it on.
There was no, body, like you purchased from under the county contract, you know, how we piggyback the bill on. some
He's
other
looking
things.
into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's out of town. He's, well, I think he's working while he's out. He's down at Hyatt's, Jim. And this, when he went to that, oh, yeah, he's involved today. Oh, good. He deserves a day off. Okay. Thank you. Drew?
You have your staff planning report and your zoning administrator report. Again, you have a lengthy agenda. I'm not going to read it to you. I sent it out. You have it. Is there any information I can answer? Anybody, any questions you have about water or sewer or any of the major public improvement projects?
Okay.
No, thank you for sending that ahead of time, so we have time to look at it.
Thank you, sir. Police Department. Chief Amy?
Supervisor.
She gave it to me.
Oh, pardon.
I defer to my underling.
Okay. We'll get it from the sergeant.
You will, one last time, maybe.
Oh, no.
82 calls for service for March, 113 motor vehicle contacts. No parking citations, no adult criminal arrest, no adult warrant arrest, one adult traffic arrest, no juvenile criminal or traffic. Major noteworthy event, 3-3 on 501 North Main Street. Personal injury accident resulted in an adult arrest for DUI and CDS possession. On 3-6 was Officer Davler's last day. On 3-15 was Officer First Class Ballesteros' last day. And on that same day, Officer Moretti completed his train the trainer, which is called T for T. And he now has a provisional certificate as an academic instructor. And as soon as he teaches a class, he will be a regular general instructor for MPCT.
Congratulations.
That is not an easy course to get there, so that's a big one.
David, how long you got to do this until you can be an FTO?
As soon as he can teach it.
Oh, FTO,
Oh,
I didn't look into that yet. I have a workaround for that.
He's going to firearms when? You got firearms?
A couple weeks,
A
right?
couple of weeks, so we'll get firearms, we'll get him DT, OC, baton, certified, taser, and then he should be able to teach all of in service.
I'd like to be referred to as doctor.
Dave's my compliment for the beard. My compliment for
Oh,
the beard.
thank you.
know who you were when
Thank-
walked.
That's the game plan, yeah. That's
Brian,
it.
that's what you look like in about 3
Anybody else have any questions of the police department?
I did get a call from Washington County Sheriff's Office. They're doing a registered bike event throughout the county at the municipalities, whatever, and they would like to know if it's okay for them to do that here in Boonesboro. They're gonna just set up at the police department. I said, I'm pretty sure that's fine,
Yeah.
but let me run it by the council before I make any decision.
That's a great idea.
Okay, and then it'll be
It's
just,
always important.
it'll be 2 days, it'll be 1 day in July, 1 day in August. So I'm just gonna tell you, yep, that's
On
great.
Saturday?
As long as
Most
you can
likely.
accommodate them. That's it.
Yes, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Can you somehow post what date it is on the town thing or the?
I'll get the information to Kim and have her post it. Yes.
Sounds great. Mayor and council correspondence, anybody have anything come forward?
I just have one, Mary Jane, the president of the Boonesboro Ambulance Company, asked me if the council would pick a night to come down to the carnival, and I asked her what night does she need us, and she said that the Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, if the council could appear in a booth.
I'm
I know you'll be
I'm
there.
there every night.
What the dates are?
It's,
25th to the June 1st. May
Yes.
1st.
So if you want to think about it, let me know. I don't need to know at the moment, but she just reached out and said that she wants to have us penciled in on a night, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
27th or
Yeah.
27th.
Good. I got a letter from Kathy Vesley, Chair of Boonesborough SMC Committee about Sustainable Maryland on Wednesday, May the 1st at 7 PM. Anybody that's available, Mike Honeycake is going to be there. He's from Sustainable Maryland. He's going to talk to us about Sustainable Maryland and Green Team and an organization meeting. And get people interested in Sustainable Maryland. So we are Sustainable Maryland certified, but there's some other things that the committee would like to get involved in. So anybody's free that night, Wednesday, May the 1st at 7 o'clock here. And Mike's very interesting gentleman to listen to. He's very knowledgeable of what he does. Anybody available that night, please come. Several of us attended the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Admiral, and also this past Saturday, we about froze down in the park for the ribbon cutting for the community garden. If you get a chance to go down and see that, it's going to be very nice. It's going to be handicap accessible and everything. So please come down if you're interested in gardening. It'll be open to the public once things get all situated and fixed up. So that's officially open. Okay, anything else to be brought before the mayor and council before we go to new business? Okay, we had a public hearing tonight at 6:30, zoning fee schedule amendments. We have a resolution states, resolution number 2024-04, mayor and council of Boonesborough, a resolution to amend the zoning fees for the town of Boonesborough, whereas the mayor and council of Boonesborough wishes to establish fees for the review of zoning and subdivision request. Now therefore be it resolved and enacted by the mayor and council of Boonesborough that fees for the zoning fees and hereby is amendments as follow. Material being deleted is designated by being. New material is designated by being in bold capital letters or numbers. Everybody has a copy of that, and I'll turn it over to Drew before we vote on it.
You held your public hearing. We've received no public comments. We've received no written comments. It's back to the board for a decision on what you all would like to do. You have a proposed amendment in front of you. Both your planning commission and your utilities commission have recommended that the mayor and council move forward with approval.
My only question would be, when would the fees take effect? Like
20 days from the date of that.
Okay, so we're looking like May.
Correct.
I didn't know if it corresponded with the fiscal year, like it would wait, or it would go ahead.
Within 20 days, because we have things coming in that we want to have applied to this. As far as I just need to know if you're going to change it, then some of your budget numbers you're going to look at would need to be adjusted, because I basically use these proposed fees to calculate your revenue from what I think will be submitted by your developments. So just keep in mind, you can change it to whatever you want. Just remember, when we look at the budget a little bit, if you make changes or something, then I've got to go back and make some minor changes.
I'll make a motion to approve, go ahead with resolution
2024.
2024. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I looked at the equals for the fees.
I'll second it.
Too late. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Can you get that on the website pretty quick?
Oh, yeah.
It's already done, right?
Hearing no other questions, all in favor say aye. Opposed, the same, motion carries.
Good job on that.
Here's your, yeah, very good job. Here's your signed copy. Thank you. All you need is your witness and the effective date. Okay, we have a request for proposal 2024 milling and asphalt overlay.
Greg, do you want to go ahead and do that?
Yeah, that's just an RFP I sent out. I gave it to the old county manager back in December that he put out. He's already had this out by now. It lists the top 10 streets in Bridgeboro that needs to be paved over top of. One is the worst, up to 10. There's a lot more than what we have money for, but we might as well put all of them out, see where we're at, see what it's gonna cost us to get these roads done. We have a little over 200,000 in our housing user fees.
Okay.
So we need to get that out soon. And a lot of these companies, you're gonna be at the end of summer where you get them come down.
Sure. Contractors submitting bids must be available, able to complete the project by December 31st.
Yeah, I wrote that up. I guess Ken can sign it.
Do you need a motion for us to accept this, or you would wait until the bids come in?
I need it for you. Can I send it out for RFP is what I'm asking.
Yep, okay. Can we send it out for an RFP? Do I have a motion? to give
I'll make a
information?
motion.
We have a motion and a second for Greg to send out the RFP for milling. Any other discussion?
We've been asking about Thompson's Court.
Yeah, that's on there.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the truck.
Oh, yeah, two concerns. Thompson Court, I've already talked to Drew. Tractor trailers can go back there. If we're gonna mill that and overlay it, we do not want any big trucks. Also, another concern, the reason why Della Lane's not holding up is big, heavy manure trucks going up and down through there in the times. And I know that manure trucks are over probably allotted weight for residential areas. Something's got to be done about those two.
Absolutely. I told him every year to clean up this year, he pretty much looked at me and laughed.
Yeah.
So
So one year, the hatch was up and he dumped manure the whole way up Dell Lane and down Winter Lane.
it was pretty bad in front of Bart Weston's house. Yeah, they think it's pretty sad. I'm holding Drew and he's gonna look into it and take care of it, I think.
But I agree, these streets need it, but those two, if we're not gonna get rid of the big truck and the big heavy trucks, a lot of good it does to overlay them in 5, 6, 8, 10 years, you're gonna get them tore up again.
Yep, agree.
Have a motion, get Greg, well, we got a motion, have a second. No, any other discussion besides what I said? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstain, motion carries. Okay. Review of bids fiscal year 2025 sanitation collection service. Council, I think all of you have in front of you the table of the bids from J&J Trash Service, Apple Valley, and Republic Services. We also asked everybody for 1 year, and we also asked for 3 other years. So we have bids through 2027.
So is J&J the ones that have taken over Keysville?
Yes.
I did some reference checks. I checked with Keysville. Keysville, oh, they're very happy, but they've only had like for maybe a month or two. I also checked with Brunswick. Brunswick's had them for 4 years. They said they do not have any problems with them. Said if they miss a household, they contact them. If they're still in town, they go back and get it. If not, they're there first thing next morning to pick it up. But they said they are very good people to work with, and it's very seldom they ever have to call about missing. I knew
For 12 years, the middle company actually acquired Key Sanitation. That's how we got our actual contract with Key Sanitation. They bought them out, the service was just as good, if not better.
Let's just say they're the low bids.
Yes,
That's what
they
I was
are.
trying to find out.
I did some research on that, Mary Lee, because I was concerned too. 'Cause,
I
Apple
thought
Valley
that was
Street
who
is, yeah.
Keysville switched to, but it's
Yeah.
relatively new.
But they
And
said so
that
far,
did
they're,
include the containers, correct?
yes, yes.
That was my question to Keysville too.
And and they're not bad looking container. It's sort of a bluish green. So,
The only thing is, J&J would be picking up on Wednesdays.
yes, they're.
Right now, we're
they-
picked up on Tuesdays.
And
Oh,
Republic
God, I'm gonna
is,
have to retrain my husband, that was difficult.
Well, one thing that's nice about it, there's not that many holidays on Wednesdays. So we won't have to worry about Monday where they're gonna be a day late on Wednesday because of Tuesday being a holiday. So that should help us out a lot too, with less confusion.
I mean, I don't know how you turn it down, especially when.
Oh, I agree. It's a big.
They did, so we
it
need
is-
it in the
it is-
budget.
It is a significant saving. So,
How soon can we take over?
It would start on July 1.
July 1.
Just to review the amounts so that
Sure.
the public knows here. J&J came in at 229,860. Apple Valley Waste, who's the current contractor, came in at 252,168. And Republic Services came in at $285,006.
But J&J even get them at 210.
Yeah, they go down.
They actually go down.
They go down.
Yeah. I mean, so.
But don't you imagine the first time is because of containers that they gotta get out?
Well, no, that's what they're giving you is the first year price if you sign a 3-year contract.
If you sign the 3-year
I mean,
contract.
they're even less than the 1-year price on year 3.
So do we have to decide if we want to go ahead and say we will take it for 3 years? Can we do
No,
that?
no, that's yearly option, correct, Kim?
No.
No, if we do a 3-year contract, we have.
It
to
changes
change it.
better price, right? If it's another $15,000,
Gets cheaper.
19,000, yeah.
But we have to vote on it.
What are
every
we
year
gonna
to
like,
do it.
you know, they're new. They're not new.
They're
They're just
not
new to
new.
us.
New to
They're
us,
new to
yeah.
us, yeah.
Um,
That's-
So
What would you do
instead,
in your own personal?
So instead of doing the contract where we renew it every year
Right.
for 3 years,
Right.
we would be accepting
All
a
3 years.
3-year contract
Yeah. and I quoted
at that price.
Which their 3rd year is less than
Mhm.
what we're
1 year.
paying now or
Right.
any of the other bids.
Correct.
I mean, if their service is unacceptable, have we seen the contract clause? Like, 'cause if they don't, if we have unacceptable service, I can't imagine there's a way to break the contract. Like, what's the, you know what I mean? Like, what's your outs? Without reading the contract, it's hard to say.
Well, Brunswick's been happy with them for 4 years.
That's what I'm saying, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But if you guys are like,
What you can
50
do-
people coming here and complain, what's our,
Well, what you can do is you can request, you can approve the bid to J&J subsequent on review of the contract.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and a second to accept J&J upon reviewing the contract. Any other discussion?
Yes. So Tony, we're not there yet, but we still gonna raise the fee by $5, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We're not gonna change.
Well,
our
that's a
budget.
proposal.
it's a proposal.
Yeah. Budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same, abstain, motion carries. Okay, thank you all. Fiscal year 2025 draft budget review.
All yours, brother.
This is when the fun starts.
No, dude, this is all yours.
I'll make it sound all right. So, this is the draft budget that Brian, Eric, and myself, along with Howard, took a couple of meetings as well, have been working on for the last, I don't know, month or so. And I know there'll be questions, and that's good. I know there might be some changes, that's fine, but we're gonna start with the general fund. I know you all had a chance to review it. Just gonna highlight a couple of things on the general fund, and then we can talk about it. The big change on the general fund is gonna be under the sanitation charge. Our current that we have and have had for quite some time is $25 a quarter. We did project to do 30 a quarter in this new budget. Even if you look at that revenue that we would receive with the increase, we're still not going to be collecting what the charges are. So that's the big headline there. Mayor Lee and I were chatting a little bit earlier, but if you didn't see, anything that's in green are just things that we're adding to this as a line item so that it matches up with the GL account that Brian doesn't have to work back and forth. So those green things aren't new, they're just added to the budget so that we can make easier work and reconciliation. The next thing that I did want to touch on would be, the ambulance station and the fire department. We've had a standing donation with those two organizations in the past, as long as I've been here, $25,000. We did put in a $28,000 donation to both of the organizations, which is only a 1.12% increase. They didn't ask for anything, we just did working numbers, that's all, so. Go ahead.
Say, you're supposed to give us more cost.
Ambulance.
Yeah.
I know we've been lenient on making them do it.
So, I mean, we could reach out to them, but yes, no problem there. The next thing that I want to make a mention to is the circuit rider, which, there she is. So our new contract with the Maryland Rural Circuit Rider Program, there's actually a cost now. It's a minimum of $12,000 a year, and that's just what we have to pay. $1,000 a month now. It's not free like it used to be in the past. So we added that in. Our lobbyists, there's nothing changing there. The next thing that I want to make mention of is under MML expenses. Pass it. I thought my contacts were stronger, Brian.
You can make it just a tad bigger. Down here.
You can do it. There you go.
There it is. Just a notch or two. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Even with these classes, I still need to.
Here we go. Under the MML dinners and council and conference stipend, I did a breakout here. So basically what we're doing here is it's $1,000 per council person and or mayor, you know, whoever's going, but we thought we'd put at least 3 people for MML and 3 people for MACO. I think that's about where we've been in years past. Part of that line item is still where we would pull the MML dinner should we go to every other month. So that's the only difference there. Software, we didn't do that. Circuit rider, lobbyist. Okay, my next note that I had is under the police station. Here we go. So in reviewing their budget, we came to find out where our base salary lies, and it's pretty bad. When you looked at what they were being started out for on an hourly basis. So we budgeted for 5 at a base rate of $45,000 a year. So those numbers reflect that. Go ahead.
Will you have a decrease in salary expense from 2024 to 2025?
I think that's because you're going off of a base rate of 45 as opposed to where we had sergeant pay mixed in there before. So I think that's why you're seeing a decrease.
You should, about, what is it, 35,000 decrease?
Oh, no, the decrease is
I mean,
30.
that's just one of my questions, because like, when I look at salaries that we have in the budget in 2024, and now you've got lesser numbers, the same way in public works. And I'm thinking, like, you didn't give me that salary breakdown like we've done before.
So that
like,
is
tell me everything.
The 139.
I don't know if you're allocating it differently, or.
Is 8 months worth of data, that 130. So we're not.
Right, but I'm looking at, we budgeted 260.
And I don't know why.
Well, but once again, you're counting on not being fully staffed, which is
Right.
fine, but if you are, we blow budget.
Right.
I'm just saying.
No, this includes fully staffed.
Well, that's where I'm at, like, if it includes fully staffed at that $100 than what we're figuring.
In the police in particular, I think it's because I know Chiefs is not in there and mine's not in there.
Right.
But in particular, you're not including in there, we have 2 sergeants on staff. They are paid at a higher rate than the base.
Yeah.
Just
See, I'm
regular
saying we
employees.
had
So that's the
260 in the
difference.
budget.
That's why you're seeing a lesser amount.
You've got
We only have 1 sergeant
35 left.
right now.
But, like, I'm not, you know what I mean, that concerns me.
Okay.
We're decreasing the budget.
All right, we could definitely look at those numbers and make sure. The next thing that was gonna be something new is the street cleaner. That is just a guess right now, the 12,000, because the town of Williamsport is gonna be supplying the machine. We're just gonna be doing whatever the hours are of the individual, how many linear miles they do through the town.
They're interested in the cost of the brushes and they're supposed to have that.
So we'll have a number to put in there.
Brushes and filling up.
So the Hardman to do it?
Hopefully we can get started. Doubt we can do it in time tonight, but should be able to get started by June. No, because we'll work that in with the brushes. In fact, I've already talked to Greg, I already talked to Michelle at the county, and we can take their truck right over when they're finished, or to Keysville and fill up the diesel fuel. There's only one stipulation. They request 3 times a year to park their street sweeper someplace undercover, because they'll be doing Arizona the 3rd Monday, and that Tuesday, they will be going to Keysville and Sharpsburg, and instead of driving back to Williamsport, and driving back to here, they like to store it here, and then just leave from here the next morning and go to Keysville and Sharpsburg. And I already talked to Greg, and we have a place worked out to store it overnight. So all we gotta do is get numbers from Williamsport. The only thing they wanna charge us for it, we're gonna put the gas, well, it's diesel fuel, it uses diesel. So we're gonna put the diesel fuel in it, and also the brushes, is all we know. And talking to Greg, those brushes aren't that much. So we all get a good bargain. And we'll make us in compliance with their, not ND, what's.
MS4.
MS4 permitting, yeah.
Is that gonna be something, contract with them for years at a time?
Oh, we're gonna make it for a long term. As long as they have the streets.
Okay.
And Lowe's bill brings them there.
So I really didn't have anything else after the street cleaner. Everything else were just normal budget items. Only, go ahead.
Well, you don't have my history for the lobbyist, and have we put that out for bid, or do we know? You know, what I mean, like, we had to increase that, I was trying to find it in my.
When's his contract up?
Like, I think his contract,
Should be the end of this fiscal year.
Oh, okay, so that's what you're
do we know what he's gonna wanna be renewing as, and are we going to renew?
We have to put him out for
Like I
bid.
said, I'm very concerned that he's got salary.
Okay.
And then my other concern would be, state shared highway use revenue. Like, did they give us an estimate of what it's gonna be? Is that where you came from?
Yes.
And you don't think they're gonna like steal that money? especially since we have a bridge.
You just stuff that there.
I know, I was going to say.
That's
do
why we
we
have to
wanna-
use their estimates.
Right,
all the
just say, do we
municipalities
have
got
a
the
backup
breakdown.
plan, you know what I mean? Like, you can put their estimate in, but we don't have to have all their estimates.
MML's trying to get that changed to get it up higher anyhow.
Well, I know, but I
Hopefully,
mean,
but I don't think they're gonna make it
the,
this year.
their instruction deficit and that.
Well, I think,
I'm just wondering.
I think the bridge is more federal than anything, but I mean, you don't know.
Yeah,
You
like
don't
I said.
know.
But like, see, you don't have as much in public service salary as we budgeted last year. So I
But
just-
they're based on the data that we had for those amount of months, it's 8 months, right? And we're not even gonna hit it. So I don't know how else to,
Well, but, so we're not getting any raises? I
So,
mean, we're
so
not
these budgeted
going-
numbers are actually based on everybody's current salary with a 5% raise.
Okay, okay.
And with
Just
a
wanna be
3%
sure.
COLA.
Okay.
yeah.
I am also confused as to why they were
Okay,
budgeted so high like
okay.
this year.
Which gets us down to the special projects. That's a new line on the general fund, but after talking to Jason a little bit earlier, it sounds like we're gonna have to go back to reporting these other revenues that we have showing up in the special projects fund. And it's gonna have to be recognized in the general fund, which it's not a problem, we'll do that. But if you finish this one out, anything that was in green will match in the special project on this one. So those monies right there, that 295,000 roughly, it'll show up in the special projects. And that's why it's highlighted there. We didn't show any contingency fund yet, but that can change. I mean, like I said, it's just a draft. So that balance is the general fund. If you're ready, I'm going to move on to the water fund. So the highlights on this one, the water fund charges, our current year that we're in, that ends in June, is the 2250 a quarter for the fixed fee. And if y'all remember the 7-year plan that was introduced last year when we did last year's budget, if we go with year 2 of the 7-year plan, that will increase to $30 a quarter for in-town. And out of town will be from 34 to 45, which was on the plan. These numbers are projected with the year 2 charges being implemented. So again, I mean, we're just here doing the draft, so I just want to highlight that. The next thing on here is the connection fees. This is a moving target as we work through it with Drew. We have to make sure of any of the taps that were prepaid. We're looking through some of the other agreements. We feel that these are accurate as far as the ones that are going to be coming in as revenues, the auction house, Battlefield Estates, and Hives. So the only other thing that we might have is if we decide that there might be some others that might be recognized, but I don't think there are.
Fletcher Grove.
Pardon me?
Fletcher Grove, Dean South. Once the road goes in.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's down the road, but yeah.
Yeah, that's just a windfall if that happens. The next thing on here, I don't really think,
So see, now these salaries went up, so that's what I'm wondering, did we change the allocation?
so you're in Public Works
Rather than
salaries.
water fund?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
down here, operations
Yeah.
salaries, yeah. So what had happened is that,
Well, public works part didn't, but what you did for administrative went up. Yeah, so you went,
okay,
but you ended up in administrative salaries, but you're normally water. you know what I mean, and the sewer, which before we more heavily weighted them to general fund because it could afford it.
I think we just increased these based on current with 5% and a possible COLA, if that's what direction we're going when we get to the payrolls, which we're not there yet. But and then under operation salaries, the only reason that these numbers look different here is that in the past, they weren't actually putting the time and a half and the double time in. So we did break it out moving forward because we want to budget it that way. And again, we did make changes here for raises and COLA based on where we are currently. I don't think anything down to here will changed. We just add the line back in so that it matches up to the GL account for the hydrant maintenance. And then under special projects, which you'll see that number appear over in the special projects tab, just about $280,000 for projects that we're working on. And that balances that water fund at 1.360, 380. If we go over to the sewer fund next. So again, if you remember with the 7-year plan, these charges here for the sewer, that's going to reflect the difference between last year and this year. We were currently charging in this fiscal year $60.50 a quarter. If we go with year 2, it'd be $66 a quarter. And that would show the additional revenues there. As far as the revenues for connection fees, these are numbers that we're pulling with Drew's help with what he anticipates. We've got connection fees at the auction house. We've got connection fees at Battlefield Estates. If y'all remember, that's the old London Fall, what Battlefield Estates is. And then we know Highs is coming soon. We're anticipating that's going to happen in this fiscal year.
Go back. What was your number on the sewer connections?
480.
31. I think.
Oh, yeah.
And it came out to 30.9.
It's 31 at 1550. 1550. Okay. The next thing that I have in here that was any significant change was the request that Pete made for a spare pump. I missed it now. There it is. There it is. So we realized that he has to have a spare pump for 2 of his locations, and he's requesting that we purchase one in this year and one in the following year. So we have one now, and then in next year's budget, we'll have a second one for him for a backup pump. So we put that in for his request. And then I have something else here. Under biosolids, we have added extra expenses for the polymer and also for a fence. Y'all know if you've been down to the treatment plant, the new dewatering press is outside of the fenced area. So we're gonna have to extend the fence down there and get all those buildings inside. So we did add some money into the budget for that because that wasn't in the
All
actual.
right, but now again, you lowered it from 120 to 70, which we already kind of anticipated that lowering 200 to 120 for a partial year of having, I don't know, it just seems, I mean, I'm hoping it's that low.
You
think
took a
that's
guess there,
reasonable.
Mary.
Yeah.
Okay,
At that 120, we really thought the price was gonna be up.
right. No, and I just, you know what I mean, we're over that expense already, I'm just making sure we think that's realistic.
Well,
I mean, I'm hoping
let's
it
think if we're
saves
gonna
us that
get-
much, okay.
Now they figure out we're not using it as much, they'll just raise the rates on them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, all right, and then the only other thing that I think I had noted here is just where, well, two things actually. The big thing is, you may know, you may not know, the sewer fund owes the general fund. What's that?
It's 2.8, not 6.8.
Oh, okay, okay. 2.8 million, Brian just had a number punched there. So, and Jason even mentioned it, I don't know if he mentioned it publicly, but he mentioned it to Mary Lee and I before the public hearing that the sewer fund needs to make these payments of some dollar amount. We made it a high number in this budget year. But if we can't make that full amount, obviously, we're gonna make an effort to do something, but we've got to start that repayment of 2.8 million. So we put that in there. And then the sewer fund is still gonna show $100,000 into special projects as well. Now, after talking with Jason earlier, we know we're gonna have to change the general fund, which we'll work on that. But
I mean, special project.
the general fund to show the revenues for the special projects. We can't do it the way we just made this draft budget. We have to actually put it back over the general.
I'd like to have a lot more conversation about that
Yeah.
at some point,
So
because I like the way you did this.
I did
Well,
too.
this is fine as an internal working document, but
Well,
it's
my
not,
point on this thing,
yeah.
Mary Lee, was this is a funding plan,
yeah,
and we could extrapolate across fiscal years.
right.
But I don't understand all the GL impacts. I've never been a GL guy. So we'll have to do something with it. But this is what we've been trying to get to figure out where we're at with respect to all these grants, because we just don't
Right.
flip and know. So we'll talk about this in a minute.
Yeah, and I guess both of you have valid points, and the bottom line is that we need this page, because it does give us the breakdown, the detail of exactly what we're doing with any of the money that would come from the general fund, the water fund, or the sewer fund. So it just seemed to be a little bit confusing when we showed all those grants, all those other funds that we received, and it's, this way we know where we're going with it, so.
Yeah, this was my thing last year, Mary Lee, to get all these grants and stuff out of the normal budget, you understand?
Right, right,
Because it's all
right.
mixed up.
But again, I'm like an internal working document for your grant
I
spreadsheet
got you.
versus kind of got to show
We'll
it
be
in
we'll be
government.
working on this
Yeah.
one. We'll probably keep this and then do something else.
Right, we'll make it better.
Yeah.
So, but if you just look briefly here at the first project under the special projects, obviously is our reservoir. You know that we've got some cash in hand, so we've got the million, the 100,000. On this EPA grant, this other $1 million, this one here is actually one that Eric and I have been working on behind the scenes for the last couple of weeks now, to get this secured. There were documents missing that hadn't been filed. So we should have a notation over here soon about what that money really is. I mean, we haven't lost it, but we got to get it secured. The American Rescue Plans, that money there is going to be a reflection of our balance that we have on hand that we're going to be spending for the reservoir. This is a calculation on what interest, and the water fund user fee is where that ARPA money is sitting right now. That exact amount is sitting in the user fee account. You'll see that on the treasury report. So we're bringing that over here. This is a big one here and pretty exciting. This FY25 Senate capital budget money, we just got this. We just realized this $1.8 million, what, a week and a half, well, not a week.
Well, it's got to pass the Senate.
But it's,
It's a good shot,
I
but
mean, Roger,
please, I know Roger's very confident, but I've seen it happen before. Oh, it's guaranteed you're going to get it, you could get it.
it's not in
But now,
hand, but it's yeah, it's
Yeah,
a very
so-
good thing, so.
Be very, very cautious. The a lot of the money's gonna go towards that bridge.
Right.
And it's gonna be taken from other people to fix that bridge.
So worst case is that whatever we don't get
Don't
this
count it.
1.8 is just gonna go down here to the 2.9 for a loan. Either way, we're gonna have to do something. So hopefully the 1.8 shows up and the 2.9 loan is where we stay.
That's actually coming from the controller's budget.
So then you'll see here in the green, this exact number is what was in the general fund to come over here to finish this project. This is still a guess, so we put it out to bid, but we put a guess in there at 10,750,000. I mean, it might be more, we don't know. But we're getting closer. Drew mentioned earlier that MDE had called with some questions, so we know that the plans are in review. As soon as we get those approved, we put this out to bid, and you're still working in the background on all the other permits that are necessary, so. The next project, you see a lot of blanks in there because that's about where we are with that project. We know that we've put out probably $2 million in expenses. Yeah. And we need to be able to pull the funding sheet and actually fill this in. We're just guessing that we might have something left over from 24 to 25. We don't know what that real number is, and we put $100,000 in there. Crestview water pressure, that project has to go in tandem with the reservoir because of the pressure. As the reservoir comes online, it's just going to make that pressure even worse over there. We can't handle what we have. So we're putting the number in there. We're going to get more information, so this sheet will be updated again. The next one is Dean South and Chase 6. That's our intersection that we're going to have to connect over there. Other thing we know right now is we have $500,000 that's sitting there waiting for us to be reimbursed. We don't have that money in hand. It's actually with the county, but we have to submit for it as we start expending funds, and then we'll get that money back. A lot of blanks need to be filled in there yet. And then the lead pipe inventory, we had to put something in there. That project has to be started. There's going to be a point where we have to get that project finished, and that cutoff date is October of this year. So we'll get some more hard numbers on there. The Schaefer Park well, again, this project, we don't anticipate having anything in FY25, but until we get the final numbers in, I don't know. So we put something in there because we need to be planning for it. Security system upgrade for all of our facilities. Again, it's just a whack. We put $100,000 in there, but we got to come up with a funding plan. As you can see, we're getting up there for expenses of these projects around over $12 million. This bottom half of this sheet is just going to show as the projects are funded, how the money's coming out. Of course, once it's all expended, we'll be at zero because it'll match the number of what the projects are going to cost. So other than the fact that we've got to go back to the drawing board a little bit, this special project sheet is going to stay there because it's going to be our funding page. And then we just need to figure out exactly how we're going to back those revenues into the general fund and have them recognized so that Jason doesn't have a problem with us this time next year, so we have another clean audit. So.
Do you have any questions of Eric and Jimmy?
I don't know if I have questions, but I have a couple of comments. First of all, I want to extend a huge thanks to Tony and Brian. They're the ones that live this effort, and I just kind of sat in and put my 2 cents in, like I'll get to a lot of things. But they're the ones that live the thing. While we were looking at special projects here, y'all might notice there's a couple of things that's not on there that we think are important, but we just have money.
Right.
The looping at Dean South and Canoe Circle right up out there by your house. And the sewer line running out around 4-day here by the auction house. Those are 2 hot topics. I know they're near and dear to Drew's heart, but they're not on the paper. We're gonna get there at some point. Greg, everything you asked for, I saw to it that you got it.
Great,
I
thank you.
want you to find out about that roof again, that guy that says he'll do it for 25 or 30 grand.
That was the price of the material for our public work guys to do it, and we don't get 50-year warranty.
Okay. Well,
They
give me
use
some
it,
more
it's
info on
50-year
that.
warranty.
We wanna get that, we wanna get something done tonight, because we can't let the roof leak all over the equipment and stuff. That's just ridiculous. So I wanted to mention that. Drew, you and I had a conversation yesterday about, we thought Jim Draper prepaid for water, but he really prepaid for sewer. So we gotta flip that in the budget thing.
Right.
So, and what was the number, 18 he prepaid?
18.
18, so we gotta flip that. And I think the final thing that I'll say is, we showed in the budget, we know we gotta borrow money from the bank for the reservoir. We also showed those loan payments in the budget, which I was pretty adamant about. We need to show that, and I was surprised we ended up in as good a shape as we ended up. But, that's all I had scribbled down here, Tony. We'll have to get back together on Jason's comments and such. Brian, anything?
Just, I think we had that call Jason. Step, just piggybacking off the special projects fund, when I was talking to her, she was saying about transferring the water restricted, sewer restricted, and the ARPA accounts to a whole new separate fund, the special projects fund. And I don't know.
Another restricted account. I understand.
So that's where that whole.
I don't know that we want to
idea
get back to
came from.
having all those bank accounts again. I think that,
Well, we already have them, that's the thing, I mean. we
well, I
already
know,
have-
but I mean, when I first started.
I know.
A
It's-
bunch of bank accounts, we had it back down, and I feel like we're going back to bad habits, because your bank account shouldn't be your accounting method. Your accounting method should be your accounting method, regardless of what bank account it's in.
It's all notes well taken, and we're gonna take it back, and we're gonna work on it. To make a comment, I want to thank Brian as well. Brian did an excellent job. He created all the sheets. He worked with updating everything. He'd sit in here and he would just do his magic with the computer while Eric and I were just throwing numbers at you. He put this on a shared drive. I can go home, I can look at it in peace and quiet, and I can make changes. Every time I call Brian or come down here, he drops everything for me. It helps me out. So thank you, thank Eric. And then I'll just make a note here what Eric mentioned was the reservoir loan payment. So we are accounting for it right here at almost $205,000 based on what we think we're borrowing. I mean, all those numbers are fluid. Wherever we land, we're going to make this number work. But at the end of the day, I think we're in a pretty good place. Obviously, we need to look at salaries from what we hear. We need to work on the funding, and I think we can come back with another version of this at the workshop for y'all and review it again.
Yeah, okay.
If you have any other.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of having a fund with a very large contingency fund. To me, when government entity has a big contingency fund that they're gonna spend wherever they want, I don't feel like that's good practice. I feel like the citizens should know what projects we're gonna use. I mean, if you have that much contingency, you have no justification for raising rates. So I feel like we gotta work on that.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
anything else you see, please contact me. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean.
well, yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
it's capital reserve for
Right,
your
yeah,
next
we'll
project,
yeah,
but
we'll figure it out.
knowing the sewer fund, like, you're not gonna have that contingency unless you get those connections. That's where all of your money is coming from, looking at the numbers, that's what's paying your loan back. and
Right.
that's what's giving you that,
Right.
so we won't have that at all without this.
We're with you on that.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for a job well done. Got some extra little bit of work to do.
That's an excellent first.
It is very good. Thank you very much, sir. Good presentation. Okay, moving right along. Town farm lease agreement, 5-year agreement. Everybody's got.
It's on the screen. I mean, it's on the flash drive.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look at the new agreement? The lease shall be for 5 years, subject to the provisions hereof.
So it's basically the same agreement,
Basically,
correct?
same thing as was change anything. No.
What we found out going through the budget process is that this lease needs to be renewed.
Yeah.
And that was the reason that we brought it up. The other thing is that, do you want to keep it just as it is? Do you want to change?
Everybody has a copy in front of them. Nothing has changed other than that it's extended. We'll have the day and the date of 2024. It'll be for 5 years for the same rate, $2,800 per year.
How long have we been doing this lease for them?
Oh, my.
A long time.
Like 20 years, probably.
And
If they want to buy it, I think we should open up that talk again.
There was no farmland out there when I started here. There was trees that they knocked all of it out. They
Right, but I mean, they've asked about
Yeah.
wanting to
Purchased it, yes.
or, you know. the
He was just a
portion
little
that they
low with it.
farm. And I feel like, you know,
well, right now,
discussion to have.
it's time to talk about the lease. So. Are
I
we willing
personally
to?
feel that we should run the lease concurrent with our fiscal year budget and not run it for 5 years. That would be the first thing I would change.
5 years is a long time.
They've been
You
doing-
might need that,
Yeah,
make them an offer, you know? That
you
is a
might
long
need some,
time.
you might need, I mean, the road's supposed to come from TT&K, go right through the middle
Right.
of that property. One day.
That's why.
Could you just reduce it down to 3,
I'd say 2.
2?
I think
I'd do
3 is
it.
even long.
I'd do it annually.
That would be
I'm saying
easy for you
run
to
it
keep track
concurrent
of
with the
with
budget.
him. Just every year, same time every year.
July 1 through June 30.
Put it on the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Well, you better keep the dates concurrent with the current lease so we have a lapse, right? Yeah.
There is no current lease. That's the problem. We found out that it
It is.
wasn't. Yeah. So this is the point where we can make any change that we want, and hopefully the tenant will want.
If you want to make it a year.
That might
yearly.
start a conversation too, change.
Right.
He's been paying year to year. We've had so many different town managers that fell through the cracks, but he started paying year to year, and then something happened with his bank account with Brian. But he's been paying year to year, so he don't care.
So you want to make it for yearly? To go with our fiscal year?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it an option to renew up to 5 years or something.
No,
No. No, could we, and really, that ground, whoever wants to try to build something on it, it's a lot of rock out there in the ground.
Yeah, they bring in loads of topsoil and cover all the rock up to make that farm field out.
And they're using it now for grazing.
The back section, they are, the front section, they farm. Yep, they got winter wheat in it right now.
Okay, year to year, still at the same price, $2,800 per year. There,
I guess.
And do we want to?
I'd rather start a conversation with them. I think we need to address that eventually.
How many acres is it?
100 and something, 140?
That's everything. That's the ball field, the sewer plant,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards. It's not,
They're not interested.
they're not.
they're really interested in, if you guys know where the mulch site is, they're interested in the mulch site back.
See, the problem, Mary Lee, I see, if we sell it to them, and then Warrior Boulevard, they may not want Warrior Boulevard to come to their property.
They don't want that part.
They don't want that
When
part?
they offered the town last time, they offered from the mulch site back to Thomas's farm.
Oh,
So from the mulch site all the way over to the sewer plant, they didn't want none of that.
My advice is continue the leases you've done. Wait till your comprehensive plan's done. You may find a need out there that you don't even know about yet, right yet.
that's
So
sure.
since there's no hurry, collect some revenue on it. And I talked to him and he told me most of it's pretty bad, the block.
It's great.
He said basically it's just grazing land. He said you can't
Grazing grazing's land is like $25 to $50 an acre. $50 is pretty good. It's gotta be good land.
So it doesn't hurt you to do it. It has a kick out clause in it that says you can give 6 months notice.
6 months.
You can cancel the contract anytime you want. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the rest really doesn't matter because you've got that kick out clause that if the town were to have a need, you need 6 months. And any kind of a need where we would need 100 and some acres, it's not gonna be a need that's gonna come in less than 6 months notice. You know what I mean?
Right.
You would have plenty of time to let him know.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll make the motion, we start this lease up again year by year for the 2,800.
Okay.
For the physical year.
Yeah, fiscal year. Yep.
You want to run it fiscally,
I'd like to run it for the physical.
Fiscal year.
Okay.
We have a motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, a second, to run this year to year on a fiscal year. Any discussion or
Yeah.
concern?
Because, I don't know, if I'm a business leasing from someone, only having a 1-year lease doesn't make me wanna invest or take care of it, especially if you have a landlord or a tenant that's been with you for a really long time. I mean, if we have a kick-out clause, I don't understand what the problem is to extend.
since we have kick-out clause, I think that
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what incentive do you have to like really invest or do, you know what I mean? Stay
What
with
would make you
property?
feel like 2 or 3?
Well, I wasn't the, it wasn't a 5-year, where did the 5-year come up with, I guess?
This is the same exact contract.
So I was gonna say, I don't understand why we wanna throw a wrench in the works by changing your contract.
But they've been paying year to year.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
they
pay us
pay
year to year.
Yeah.
But the
every
kick-out
year.
clause says, provided that 6 months notice is given to the landlord prior to the end of each successive 5-year lease.
That is the most weirdly worded paragraph I've ever seen. And I could not make heads or tails of it. I could not make heads or tails of it, but the second sentence says it all. You give them 6 months notice and that's all you need to do.
Prior to the end of the 5-year lease up, is that what it said?
That's what it says.
Prior to the end of, so you can't, in year 2, you can't give them a 6 months kick-out clause because it's only year 2, not year 5.
And that is not clearly worded that way.
Yeah, so I think that
The
we need
landlord
to
has the right
change
to
that.
terminate the lease prior to the time provided 6 months notice is given.
Here's what I think he's trying to say. I've seen a lot of leases, like on cell tower leases and stuff, where the leases are 5-year leases with multiple renewable terms. I kind of thought that's what he was driving at in that thing when I read it, but it didn't read that way. Because if you were a farmer, having the ability to do a 5-year lease and then be able to renew it multiple times gives you 20 years or whatever.
Right.
And that's what I thought he was doing. If it matters to the council, we can get it clarified by the town's attorney.
I think you all get it clarified and
But
bring
we need
it
to
back to us.
rework that.
But we have a motion and a second on the floor to do a 1-year lease agreement. That's $2,800. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
So wait a minute, I missed something. So you're rewording, how do you vote on a lease that you can't freeze? Like, you're saying we're
It's
voting on it.
clarification, so
Yeah,
we
I
should
can't
probably table that.
vote for that, yeah.
You're approving the amount of the lease
For
And-
1 year.
for 1 year,
And for
and you're asking to have the contract reworded to better understand the intent.
But you're changing it to 1 year.
Yes.
I'm
And still at $2,800. Okay, let's start over again. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 5-1. Okay. We'll send that notice out. Kim and Drew. Kim, Drew.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. We're both ready.
Writing as you're talking.
Sorry about that. Okay. We have a draft residential growth policy.
I'm gonna plan on doing set.
Okay.
Take one, everything.
Everybody's still awake. As you see.
Probably warm.
We all have, Y'all still awake? I promise I'll try to be brief. I did not send this out. So you all remember months ago, we were talking about a particular subdevelopment of the street here. And we had some conversation in here about that we had no say. And that sort of just didn't make sense to me why we didn't have say. I think it's a learning experience for me. So I thought we should have some say and some oversight, if you will. So I started to Google around, talk to some people, this and that, and lo and behold, I found something that another municipality has. And I took theirs and expanded it and turned words around to make sense for Boonesboro, or at least it's a proposal I'll call it. So our policy statement, the town of Boonesboro requires all new residential development to have an approved preliminary site plan. We all know that. If this preliminary site plan is dated April 1, 2024, dated after that, the developer must adhere to this policy. Okay, now I realize this date's, debatable, it can change. The intent, I came up with this paragraph myself. The town wishes to allow building of residential dwellings at a smart rate of growth. Everybody talks about smart growth. So I threw that word in there. This will allow roadways, drinking water infrastructure, wastewater infrastructure, public schools, the police and fire departments, the public works department, and so on, to grow and adapt at a commensurate rate. Building at a smart rate will allow the town to continue to generate additional revenue annually through water and sewer tap fees. I did not mention taxes, while at the same time maintaining our small town feel, which is very important to some residents. I think we can probably all agree. I didn't say no growth. I didn't say a lot of growth. I said some growth. So development criteria, I'm not gonna sit here and read all these things, everybody. It's late, we're all tired. The first two bullets pertain to water and sewer. Again, the PMUC and the Planning and Zoning Commission will certainly be involved in all this, as they are. This whole document just gives us some oversight. The next two bullets talk about the school and traffic impact study. All right. Don't worry about the next two bullets. The first bullet on the next page, this is my favorite one. We're talking about the comprehensive plan, right? We all know that's being worked on. And this is in direct relation to the comp plan. We've had preliminary discussion with the Planning and Zoning Commission, and this is what they're kind of leaning towards. The town shall not approve permits for more than a total of 30 residential dwelling units per calendar year within town boundaries. 30, period. This total includes all residential developments and new individual constructions combined within town boundaries. Note, the average number of new homes built for the 50-year period of 1970 to 2019 is 17 and a half houses per year. 17 and a half. Kinsey Heights, Crestview, Sycamore Run, all these places that average 17.5 per year. So clearly is being, generous. The next two bullets talk about off-site improvements and other factors. I'll give you two quick examples. We know somebody along the way screwed up out here at Tetris Road. We have a really nice high production well that we basically can't use. So we should have had some off-site agreement to have a bigger lot, have a filtration station out there, something. So we have to get that over somewhere else if we have intended to use it. Our second example is down here at King Road, where they're talking about going back in those fields at some point. But we know we have to upgrade the pump station that's at the bottom of Young Avenue. It's not on King Road Associates property, but that pump station needs upgraded, and they're gonna pay for it, is our, our hope. So that's those two bullets. exceptions. I came up with this all by myself. The calendar year number limitation does not apply for age-restricted 55 and over single-story cottages. I was thinking about the guy beside me out there. He's exempt from this anyway, because he's already got a site plan approved. But in case somebody else wanted to do age-restricted cottages, they wouldn't have to be limited to these limitations. Second of all, calendar year limitations do not apply for rebuilds of residential units that have had EDUs in previous years. For example, the apartment that just burned down up here had 4 or 5 units. Well, we're not gonna make them wait to adhere to this policy. I mean, they're gonna be allowed to rebuild. And then the next one talks about other outdated construction down on Potomac Street, where they tore that old house down there some years ago. I guess it's H&H, building the 2 new units down there. Well, we're not gonna make them get that kind of thing. So we're trying to be agreeable there. And really, that's the gist of it. I just asked you to take this thing home, read over. I'm gonna run it by the Utilities Commission. I'm gonna run it by planning and zoning. I'm not an attorney. I haven't talked to any attorney, any of that stuff. But take it home, look over it. I'd like to have your comments. COB on April 19th. I think you all know how to get a hold of me. Most everybody behind me knows how to get a hold of me. If not, it's ekitchen@townofwilliamsburg.com. And,
Hand out your cards, Eric, hand out your cards.
yeah. I have fancy cards like Tony. But anyway, I wanted to do something to give us some oversight, but be fair to the developers and the people.
Well, then you need to have the developers be able to comment.
And
I mean, because like you're mandating rules on people's property that
I'm sure.
you haven't, like, you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
sure we'll get to that, but this was just my first strike at something.
because one of my questions would be, I know you have an average, but now when Fletcher's Grove is being developed, was there a time when there were more than 30? Because like the development
No.
start, you know what I mean? And tell a developer they can only build 20 houses in a year.
Well,
You're just limiting
well,
the
again,
potential, you know what I mean? Because it comes as first.
so we're talking
So,
about the ones that have approved site plans, we're not putting any. Jim Draper's got 56 or whatever, the guy beside me's got 48, and that's.
yeah, but then that just means only he can develop because you put a limit of 30 permits in a year, so.
Now I'm saying,
they'll
if-
have
No, he
bigger
said it didn't
limits, right?
affect them. It didn't affect them, because we have current agreements
Where
with
we
them.
have current agreements we have with people.
No, it doesn't say agreements, it's like.
yeah, he's got.
He's already got it.
preliminary, yeah.
Right, but we don't have approved site plans out here.
No, we don't.
So that would be, to me, then if Jim starts to complete his, no new development's gonna, am I wrong or am I missing?
30 houses.
No, I think what you're having is the detailed conversation that needs to happen. These are all
Yeah, so like,
questions that have to be
Dunkin' Donuts,
asked.
everybody's been wanting to come, well, you can't wait because you're permit number 31.
Well, Dunkin' Donuts is commercial.
Yes.
Okay.
I said, I'm saying, this is all residential.
And the 2 things that really drove me to this, Mary Lee, is the day that we found out that this committee has no oversight,
Right.
and we're the ones that get talked to in the grocery store all the time. And then the day that Drew and I rode back to the current end of Warrior Boulevard with our buddy from Georgia, and he's standing there swatting, he wants to build 100 houses right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, hang on, dude, you know. So anyway, I just want to put something together. Maybe you all like it, maybe you hate it, maybe it needs a lot of work. I just wanted to throw something out. So.
I appreciate it.
It's just my job.
I will tell you, and I did review this with Councilman Kitchen. He's pulling a lot of stuff that you already have in existing laws, but he's putting it in one place that you can hand to developers, and it kind of summarizes it. I think that's a great, smart thing to do, because some of the stuff that he pulled is in your APFO. Some of it's in your zoning for your open space. A lot of it's identified, but it puts out those big numbers that are going to be barriers for developers and lets them know what they can expect. It's not a blank slate, you come do whatever you want. Here's what's going to be expected. And when they run into it, whether it's 30, 40, I don't know what number anybody ever agrees to, somebody's going to ask the exact question that Mayor Lee asked, and that is, oh, so you really don't want 3 or 4 subdivisions going at the same time? Maybe the answer is no, we don't. You know, we want them staggered. So get in line. How do we do this? I do think, and this is just my personal opinion, if this starts getting traction and it's something that really becomes, it looks good, I would personally invite the developers that have stake in this to sit down. We need to talk to them about the comp plan anyway and talk to them about it. They're not going to like it. I get it, but we might as well have a conversation with them because maybe some of them aren't anywhere close to being able to develop. Think of Kings Road. They came out, they met with us. The family's trying to figure out what they're going to do. They're not building a house anytime in the next 2 years. They're not. Remember, all developers are going to tell you they're going to build it in 2 weeks, right? They're coming in 2 weeks. You all and I know with the death of Mr. Font, the legal ramifications of making that all work are huge, okay? Especially with someone that had acquired as many assets as he had acquired. So you know that's really going to kind of be out there. The only one that's chomping at the bit is Jim Draper at Fletcher's Grove because he's been coughing up money to get this road done.
Right.
So he's chomping at the bit. Right, and I think in some ways you kind of, if it's a policy, it's not an ordinance. It can be changed by that elected group anytime you want. So if a situation did change and maybe you had it at 20 a year and you did it for 3 or 4 years and you're like, you know, this really isn't that bad. Maybe we can up it to 30 or vice versa. Or maybe 30 was too many and you need to go the other way. But if you're having that conversation the entire time, it's a complicated thing, guys. It really is complicated. And you do have to think about it in a lot of ways. But I'm just saying, it's a good document. It's something good to have. And just as you said, it comes directly from the board. It's something that you can hand your planning commission members as they get appointed, your other people. These are the rules. These are the general oversight of things that matter to us. School overcrowding, road transportation, density, and when things are going to be built. So it's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, when I ran by Drew Friday and he said he liked it, I was floored, honestly.
You don't give yourself enough credit.
No.
No, but I don't think it's a bad idea for you to have a document to get to developers that spells out the major important issues to the town. Schools, roads, safety, density. I mean, you know, these matter to the town. And just let them know up front.
Thank you, sir. Good job. Economic Development Commission, they have a reappointment for Marie Worcester for a 3-year term. Council, with your commission, I'd like to reappoint Marie Worcester to the EDC Commission for another 3 years.
Nomination will reappoint Marie Worcester for a 3-year term on the EDC.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Everybody got a copy of the Arbor Day proclamation, same thing that we read every year. Instead of sitting here taking the time and reading this, do I have a motion to approve the Arbor Day?
Thank you, Mayor.
I have a motion and a second to approve my suggestion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. If you want to hear me read this, read down at April 21st, 2024 at the market at 1 o'clock, you'll hear me read it.
Who gave my motions for that?
She was the second.
I was second.
Ray was
Ray
first. I figured that would go. The last thing on the agenda is the invitation to the Memorial Day Parade here in Boothburg. It's on Sunday, May the 26th. Ceremonies in front of the square at 1 o'clock. Parade forming at 1:15, or well, most of you go to the ceremony as soon as you get there. It starts at 2. You'll have plenty of time to get out there and there will be a place for you. Just let me know whether you want special place in the parade like you did last year, Ricky, or whether you want to be up closer to the front like you always are. So just let me know, because I figure council will ride, and whoever's vehicle we use, we have the signs and all on Kim's file cabinet. The other thing we bought before.
Can I campaign during the parade since it's election year?
It's after the
Oh, it's
election.
Okay.
Wait, not even she is free.
Park board, Ricky.
Arbor Days, April 21st. Everything's arranged, ready to go. Harold Mel has been notified to the events calendar. Trees were ordered from Clear Ridge Nursery using the MUC FC grant, which is Maryland Urban and Community Forest Committee, in case anybody wanted to know. And the grant is $1,000. These trees are replacing the ones that have died from the previous planting. They would be planted April 15th. And Andy Twig from DNR will assist with the planting. General maintenance will be done by Jeff this spring. Concerts all are scheduled, and they're marked on the event calendar. Disc golf, all the sponsors have been obtained.
They got 18 of them?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, all of them have been obtained. Fishing Derby is May 4th. Green Fest is May 11th. Wagon Train is May 19th. Ponies and the spinner have been contacted, and auxiliary. Fish spin auxiliary will be selling hot dog snacks and that kind of stuff. And the wagon train this year will go through the town to the roundabout and come back to the park. The new business is that Jamie is working, which is, where's she at? Anyway, I can't remember her name. Yeah, she attended the meeting by FaceTime. She is working on a new park board logo. So we should have that coming up. We purchased a sponsor for the disc golf. What they did. So that would be the logo will be up on the sign. The movies, park board have the movies from May to August this year. The movies are Barbie, May 18th, Super Mario Brothers, June 15th, Arthur the King, July 20th, Goonies, August 17th. And the pickleball location, based on the minutes from the March Mayor and Council meeting, Park Board strongly opposes reallocating the basketball court near the Boy Scout building for anything other than basketball. This court is used daily by the kids of all ages and needs to remain a basketball court. That's a motion by Jeff, a second by Jamie, and all approved. Park Board is suggesting locating the pickleball court behind Pavilion 4. Members of the Park Board are willing to meet with the council to discuss this location. Capital projects, repaving the basketball court property, is the court near the Boy Scout building, and adding benches to concrete pads.
I think pickleball's bad.
We were just trying to figure out which one was Pavilion 4. That's back where the community garden is.
That's where the other,
Scouts.
Yeah, so that would be
it'd
back
be
there.
behind there. And the bathroom they were talking about, since they're gonna repair the termite damage, maybe they can winterize the bathroom or keep it open year round.
We asked Greg to give us a price on winterizing a bathroom, but it would be the one up here at the park entrance. That's the one that's used the most, where the handicap spots being rehabbed.
No. The reason why the one that's down by this Boy Scout building is because it needs repairs all the way around. And we were trying to centralize the bathrooms from people using the football field down in that area, down to the pond, all the way up to the old park. So they figured that
Gotcha. That's in the middle.
yeah,
Well, I don't think it would change the price, but we can ask them to price that.
yeah. Next meeting's at April 24th at 6, which is at the park. We're gonna do our park walkthrough.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions of Rick?
I just have one comment. I thought the park board voted on that basketball court the last time. They changed their mind.
They never,
They never,
It was suggested, I don't think it was ever voted on.
it was never voted on.
It was suggested in the meeting.
council made the suggestion.
Yeah.
But the old basketball court. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Utilities Commission.
Sure. BMUC last met on March the 20th under old business. The wastewater treatment plant sludge press update. Pete stated that the project was on schedule and they should be doing startup first week of April. They're still looking for a more cost-effective product that we can use. We discussed that earlier. Schaefer Park well update. Pete stated that the Frederick Lab was doing the testing under strict MDE mandate. MDE is concerned that the new well is under the influence of groundwater and it requires us to do a lot more testing. More to come as details become available. Reservoir update, town planner had no new updates. MDE and Washington County reviewing in tandem. We just heard earlier tonight that MDE was asking questions, so that's a good thing. We're actively reviewing and getting permits, so we should be able to start and put it out to bid as soon as we get approved. Potential new connection update, both the auction house and Boonesboro ambulance submitted to both, the Boonesboro ambulance company and auction house both submitted to tie into the new force main, the temporary sewer fix. The BMUC commission discussed the use of the bond bill funds, which we were granted $500,000, and they feel strongly that that project money should be used for public portion, nothing to do with the auction house. Town planner stated he would like to get the cost of a preliminary engineering report from WRA on the gravity sewer system option. The motion by the commission to move forward with that. Leak detection results. Greg stated the results from the vendor found 6 hydrants that were leaking, all from misuse. 3 service line leaks, all the distribution lines were good, I'm sorry. All the leaks have been repaired too. Town planner presented a draft copy of the policy for connection to the water and or sewer outside the town of Boonesboro. Commissions to email comments back and be ready for the discussion at our next meeting this month. Under new business, the town planner reviewed an example of the fixture unit count water sewer certification, which we've all seen. And we got to go through an actual markup from Fletcher's Grove and or Dean South, whichever way you want to call that project, which will be part of the new policy moving forward. Chairman Mullendor reviewed all of the FY25 projects, stated that we need to prioritize the press, the reservoir, and the pressure reduction in Crestview as high priorities. Pete added that request for 2 additional backup pumps for 2 pump stations, one on Young Avenue and one on Route 34. We just talked about that earlier. We put one in the FY25 budget. We'll put another one in FY26. There was a data logger system introduction by member Norris. It was determined after we had the presentation that we already have a similar system in place, so there was no action there. Fixed rate increase was discussed and approved by the commission to move forward with the plan, the 7-year plan, and we're in now year 2. And they voted that the commission moved that up to the council, which we added that to the budget, which we're all reviewing now. BMUC was informed of the recommended increases of the sanitation rate that we have in the budget. We just told them as a reference point because that sanitation bill is part of the water bill and they should be aware of it. Under systems reports, Pete, on the water side, no concerns. On the sewer side, needs to reach out to a vendor in order to make needed repairs to a part of the system that controls the transducer. He's gonna give us an update later this month. And Greg, on the sewer side, no concerns. On the water side, they had a leak repaired at Schoolhouse Court. Quarterly meter readings was completed. It only took them 4 hours this time, which was exceptional. And he said they only had 4 shutoffs in Boonesboro and just 1 in Keedysville. We meet again on April the 17th, right here at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. Do you have any questions? Hearing none, planning commission, Eric?
Yes, sir. Under old business, still under the heading of the comprehensive plan, we talked about some population information that Drew provided, and I found it interesting that the population has grown more rapidly than the number of houses being built. I guess is the best way to say that. So it seems like we have more people in each given household. So anyway, they're digesting that as part of their comp plan. Fletcher's Grove, Dean South, working on our water and sewer certification, the new process about fixture unit counts and all that. So Drew had an example of that. Basically, it's the real deal. There's 18 age targeted units at Dean South and 38 single-family homes for a total of 56, and they're each 1 EDU apiece. So that's pretty simple and straightforward, but he passed that out and had a little discussion about it. Under new business, there was something about street naming and addressing. Apparently, the town doesn't always name the streets and tell people what their address is going to be. And this planning commission's opinion and Drew's opinion that the town should do that, not the county. So
We don't have a choice.
We don't have a choice. When the new 911 call system all came out, the county said that they would control it because there's too many streets in Washington County.
Take our
That's the
suggestions.
same.
And Mayor, they do control it, but we can submit
We can
what
submit.
we want
Yes, we
to make
can.
sure that there's no duplicates.
Right, and then they'll give you the okay.
Right,
But technically, we gotta go through them on every
Absolutely.
Main Street. you know.
absolutely, but what was happening is the developers were going directly to the county, and I think that the mayor and council and the planning commission should know what your street names are gonna be. I mean, you should have some review of that before it gets submitted. That's my point, is that if it's a name that you're not even gonna wanna have there, why would you even submit it to the county?
And they said they was getting too many, good example, Balmer Street, Comic Street, too many of those in the county, and Main Street.
Main Street,
You know, a gentleman from 911 came down and talked to us. Emergency service.
How many Howard Long parkways?
There are several Howard Streets in around, none in Boonesboro.
One acre.
Yeah.
well, anyway, just to continue for a moment under new business, site plan requirements. There was a discussion that occurred about, well, when do we require a new site plan? If an apartment building changes into a restaurant, I think that came up because of Crawford's situation over here. What constitutes, a change of use and some things that are going on at the auction house. So that was just some more discussion that broke out in there. And finally, Jim Draper's engineer did not attend the meeting the other day that we had with Jim Draper, but he did show up at the planning and zoning meeting. And he made some comment that we were all kind of, Tony, Drew, myself, Dave Farmley, some comment about not having to finish the road before they could start building houses. And we all pushed back on that about as rigorous as we could. So that's not gonna happen.
Nope, that road's gotta go through.
Yeah. And,
So they can start the grading, but they can't build any houses.
Right. so we meet again on April 23rd right here at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions of Eric? Hearing none. Ray, EDC.
Last EDC last met in February. There's been no new meeting since our last report. The next meeting is going to be April 24th. We did, as the mayor mentioned, have 2 ribbon cuttings already here in the last few weeks. Appalachian Trail Committee did meet here, since we are now a brand new Appalachian Trail community. They held their conservancy board meeting here, and they had 13 states represented. So we are on the map. There's a branding campaign we're going to launch, try to get so we'll run some marketing branding for the town, town mottos, things like that. Tour history, save the romance. We can work on that. We can work on that.
Yeah.
So that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions of Ray? Environmental, Terry?
The Green Fest met March 13th. There's some new items that they're going to be collecting during the Green Fest May 11th, which includes razors, phone cases, and medicine bottles. The Williamsport Library has requested that a low waste workshop, which the Environmental Commission has been doing in our library, Williamsport wants them to come do one. It's going to be April 18th. April the 10th, which is Wednesday, is our next meeting. They're going to have Key City Compost. It's going to be here. The community garden, of course, they had their ribbon cutting on Saturday, and it's pretty well attended, I thought.
Very well.
It's very nice. That's about it.
And cold. And windy.
We meet Wednesday.
Thank you, Terry. Anybody have any questions of Terry? Anything else to be brought before the council tonight? Hearing none. We need a motion to go into executive session as provided under general provisions, Articles 3-305B8. Consult the staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation, and 1 subsection J, to discuss the appointment, employments, assessment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?